one of, if not the most underrated fighter in history, most certainly in the last 40 years, Gerald the G-Man McClellan. Now, McClellan was a world champion, WBC middleweight world champion in the 90s. He was best known, to the boxing fans with his two brutal knockout wins against the hardest puncher, in my opinion, in that middleweight division, Julian Jackson. Jackson had so many knockouts at the time. I think he had over an 80% knockout ratio, or it might have been a 90% ratio. He was knocking literally everybody out, and he was a great champion in his own right. But Gerald McClellan beat him twice, and over time McClellan has been forgotten by the boxing fans, or by the boxing community. And in my opinion, this man was on his way to becoming one of the greatest fighters in boxing ever. Certainly pound for pound. He had literally everything a fighter needs. He had an excellent chin. He had brutal body shots. He was a very hard puncher. And he had, incredible boxing skills. He actually beat Roy Jones in the amateurs. And we all know Roy Jones was one of the best amateurs. And Gerald McClellan did beat him. I can't remember what event it was at. Maybe it was just at a Golden Gloves show or something. But McClellan definitely beat Roy Jones in the amateurs, and he regularly used to spar with the great James Toney as well. And those fights would have been good. I'm not saying he would have smashed up them two, because Roy Jones and James Toney are impeccable, talents, and they were incredible in the 90s. But everybody remembers Roy, everybody remembers James Toney, but not a lot of people remember the G-Man. He was an incredible fighter, and if only that brain injury, that blood clot in his brain, never happened, because he was on his way to become the best of the 90s. And I think he deserves a lot of respect and a lot of, admiration from the boxing community, because he was a very, very good fighter, an elite fighter. And, after his fight with Nigel Benn, it was, Ben has said since then he regrets fighting McClellan that time. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really Ben's fault. He was just a fighter against McClellan on the night. And really, McClellan won that fight in the first round. He knocked Ben out of the ring. And that was a disgrace of a fight anyway. But McClellan did have to retire after that. But, I think Gerald McClellan deserves to be remembered as the most underrated fighter, most underrated and most avoided champion. Like, nobody wanted to fight Gerald McClellan. This man, Jackson, obviously, when he fought Julian Jackson was the champion. And, his only other notable name on his resume was John Mugabe, who had obviously probably seen much better days by then. But I think that fight was for the WBO middleweight world title. But yeah, McClellan, a lot of fights that missed out for him because a lot of people didn't want to fight him. So many other middleweights, super middleweights avoided this man. But Gerald McClellan, the most underrated champion of the last 30, 40 years, one of the most avoided champions in history, most definitely in the middleweight division. What do you guys think about that? I think Gerald McClellan is an incredible fighter, and he should be remembered as that. Appreciate everybody who took the time to watch this video. And if you are a fan of Gerald McClellan, let me know in the comments below. And, leave a like if you, enjoyed him as a fighter. And yeah, this is Zayn, and I'm out.